Hello and welcome to another Toffee Blues video, your source for all things Everton. I'm Louis and this is a player ratings video coming off the back of yesterday's 2-2 home draw against Manchester United. Start with the game as a whole. Everton were magnificent for 60-70 minutes and then obviously let the lead slip in the end in a game that is once again dominated by the official in the middle. It would just be nice to go to a game of football as a match-going fan and leave and talking about who played well and who didn't, instead of talking about decisions and not just the penalty. The whole of the last half an hour or so, it was one of the most one-sided refereeing performances that you'll ever see. And you know, we're very used to that when we play the top six sides, and it was a complete disgrace yesterday, really. And it's a view that's shared by not just Evertonians but plenty of people I've seen on social media this weekend, who, you know, whether it be their own clubs or just this game in particular, who are noticing this trend when we're playing these teams that, you know, things just go against you constantly. And don't get me wrong, Everton could have stood up to it a little bit better. I thought the subs were a little bit too late from Moyes, who, to be fair, set us up really well. Could have changed it a bit earlier perhaps, but, you know, it's difficult to put any blame on Everton when the game went the way that it did. So a frustrating afternoon at Goodison after it started out so brightly. But the players, to start with, Jordan Pickford, 7. I didn't think the free kick was his fault. You hear pundits sometimes saying about don't get beat on your side. It's a bit of a myth, to be honest with you. Coming from a goalkeeper, you know, it's a great free kick from 20 yards. It's gone right in the bottom corner. He's got to protect the whole goal, not just his side. So that wasn't his fault for me. And then it's a top save from Bruno Fernandes to deny Man United the winner. Great athleticism and a strong wrist to get it over the bar as well. So a 7 for Jordan Pickford. O'Brien, 8. Excellent once again. It's 6 unbeaten now for the Irishman. He's been magnificent since he come into the side against Tottenham the other month. And, you know, he's looking a real great signing from Thelwell. Took him a little bit of time to get up to speed. I think even under Dyche he wasn't quite ready. But this, the move from Moyes to put him right back has bore fruit for us, because he's so composed, he's defending really well in 1v1 scenarios, and just his height as well adds another layer of protection when we're defending. So he's been brilliant once again, and no difference on Saturday afternoon. Tarkowski, 7. Quiet display, really. They didn't really play on Tarkowski too much, but he was solid all afternoon. It was a real captain's performance as well. He was first in the face of Andy Madley, as I'm sure every Evertonian wanted to be, all the way through the game, which is what you want to see. He's great in the air, and yeah, good display from Tarkowski. Branthwaite, 8.5. Incredible once again. I think that consistency that we saw last season of just pure class is definitely back now. You know, when you think that Man United last summer tried desperately to sign him, and you can see why, because I thought he outclassed all of their centre-halves throughout the 90 minutes. He was composed, he was calm, he was cool, he was collected. He was just incredible all afternoon. And, you know what to expect from Branthwaite, or Evertonians do, but when he puts in a display as good as that, it's just a joy to watch. So an 8.5 for him, and hopefully he went down a few times in the game, so hopefully he's not got an injury and he'll be fine for Wednesday night. Mikalenko, 7, steady as always. As I say, that consistency last season that we saw it sort of waned at the start of this one, but he's, by the back end of Dyche's era, now into Moyes' new start, he's been really solid again. So a 7. Gueye, man of the match for me, 9 out of 10. I thought he was immense. 11 tackles, the second most by an Everton player in the Premier League era, at the age of 35 as well, against the side like Man United, who, okay, aren't at the best at the minute, but, you know, they're still capable of producing moments, as we saw for the second goal. But Gueye snuffed that out all the way through the game. Was unlucky with his strike that forced what should have been a penalty at the very end. And I think Everton really need to start looking at getting him tied down to another season, because he's been immense all season through, and that partnership with James Garner has been brilliant for us, as it was all last season as well. You know, when those two are together, you feel like you've got a bit more of a chance, a bit like, you know, in years gone by, with most recent years, of Gareth Barry, James McCarthy. When those two were in the side, you kind of felt like you were going to win the midfield battle, and with these two, it's the same. And again, for Garner, it's an 8. That partnership is absolutely crucial, and, you know, there's a few snide tackles in there, screened the back four really well, and they were two players for me who deserved to come out with 3 points, as I thought basically all of Everton's players did, really. Lindstrom, 6, done really, really well for the second goal. Great through ball through to Beto, but he was quite quiet overall, really. Withdrew with an illness early on in the second half, but a 6 out of 10 for the Dane. Decore 8 absolutely warranted his selection yesterday. Obviously, after Alcaraz's performance at Crystal Palace, I'm sure there'll have been a few, myself included, who wanted to see him start. But what Decore offers Everton is priceless. You know, the energy, the press that I've talked about already. He was brilliant for us in that sense, and kept the first goal alive with not one but two headers, and then the second one summed him up to a T. He just wanted it more than Maguire, and he took it well. And as I say, I think he's one of those Decore. For all of his faults, you know, he might not be the prettiest player to watch on the eye, but he gives 100% for Everton, and it was no different yesterday. So an 8 out of 10 for him, and I say I'm always made up for Decore. Harrison 7, again vital in keeping us up the pitch early on. Tired towards the end, but he's in really good form at the minute, the winger. Since he got subbed on against Brentford in the Cup, that's 4 displays now where he's been really impressive. So hopefully he can play his way back into form, and maybe a goal's just what he needs as well. But much better from Everton's lone star. Beto, 8, 5 goals in 4 games. You can see the confidence now is oozing from him. He took his goal really, really well. We know he's bullish, we know he's raw, but now the thing for me is his overall play is looking much better. There's still times, obviously, where you can see he's lacking technical ability, but in terms of bringing people into the game, he's improved so much over this past month. And you know, if Calvert-Lewin was back fit now, I think he's got a real job on his hands to displace Beto, because he's earned that position now, and long may it continue. So there's plenty of people who, you know, weren't sure about him. I was definitely one of those people, and thankfully he's proven me wrong at the minute. So hopefully that carries on into Wednesday night. Subs next, Young 6, as I've mentioned, somehow denied a penalty, which for me wasn't even the worst decision of the afternoon. But he was quiet otherwise. Few decent balls into Beto, but a 6 out of 10. Alcaraz 6 and Irobenham 6 again. In the last 10 minutes, it felt like Everton may as well have not played. It was just constant Man United free kicks, so they had no real chance of getting into the game, and other than that, they were quite quiet. But as I say, a frustrating afternoon in the end on one that looked like it was going to be brilliant. Goodison in the sun against Man United, and you walk away ultimately feeling like you've been stolen 2 points. So we've got 2 games left at Goodison against top 6 sides, and then hopefully we can just enjoy the last 2. But either way, it's a point on the board. We're still not safe, which I think we're all a bit paranoid after the past 3 or 4 seasons. So hopefully we can get it sorted as soon as possible with another big game on Wednesday night at Brentford. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I didn't whinge too much there, but let us know your thoughts in the comments. Did you agree with the ratings and whatnot? And I'll speak to you next time. Up the Toffees.